during the pandemic or plandemic, who remembers this type of so-called media news coverage?
A celebratory time coincides with a disturbing surge of racist attacks against Asian Americans. Here's CBS's Nancy Chen.
This surveillance footage shows a 71-year-old Asian grandmother violently shoved to the ground, her purse stolen. Just one of several attacks in California's Bay Area recently. A 91-year-old man pushed in Oakland's Chinatown, one of 3 attacks that day. 84-year-old Thai American Visha Ratanapakdi knocked over while out for a walk. He died a few days later from his injuries.
First, we say condolences to anyone who suffered any form of abuse during that pandemic time period going forward. Secondly, we believe here on this side of the channel that the anti-Asian hate bill was needed to be signed. We base that statement off of the facts provided by the Asian American professor Janelle Wong. And we're going to go into the details concerning her report shortly in this video. But before we do so, I want to make mention one more time. The news media coverage was so biased and done so poorly at that time that even the informed comedian Dave Chappelle had some choice words.
And I hate to say this, but there was a lot of videos, sadly, of black people beating up Asians for no reason. Oh, these attacks were unprovoked. I couldn't believe it. And I was sitting in the room watching this shit. It was stressing me out. I was stressed already because the whole time when you get coronavirus, at least the first 5 days, you wait to see how sick you're gonna get. And it turns out, and this is true, I didn't get sick at all. Not a cough, not a booger, not a fever, nothing. Look at me. I am the Magic Johnson of coronavirus. I just sat in the crib and got strong all week. But I was stressed because I kept watching these videos of my beloved black people beating up my beloved Asian people and being so cruel. And the whole time I watched those videos, I feel like when I saw these brothers beating these Asians up, it's probably what's happening inside of my body.
Certainly, the news media was trying to project off onto a particular group of people as being the face of Asian hate. Yet at the same time, we're very thankful for the professor Janelle Wong as she did her research showing the great discrepancy and the great differences between the news media's narrative and her actual numbers, which she researched, reasoned, recorded, and reported. And without any delay, we're going to take a look at this 24-page report right now. And in this report, there are 4 particular pages that we will bring our attention to. And that's, I believe, is page 9, 12, 23, and 24. And then we'll be out the door. So here's the official report beyond the headlines. A review of national anti-Asian hate incident reporting data collections published over a 2-year time period between 2019 and 2021. As we see, it's been prepared by Dr. Janelle Wong of the Asian American Studies program at the University of Maryland in June 2021. And she took away 8 key takeaways from the research roundup, and we're going to take a look at about 3 or 4 as we scroll down. So we scroll on down right before page 9, and we come to the 2019 FBI Uniform Crime Report as it's been referenced within the main report. And it simply says that hate crimes rose to the highest levels in more than a decade. Killings motivated by hate reached their highest annual total since the FBI began the reporting in the 1990s. One thing we're going to take a look at here, which pertains to us, as the media projected what they projected, we see that 58% of the victims in that year were actually black people, 14% were Latinos, and 4.4% were Asians. And we know that by the year 2021, that 4.4% number increased to about 6.7%. And that was where the wave of anti-Asian resentment began to take place. Now, jumping forward to about 2 years, it says in terms of the race of the perpetrator in the year 2021, we see that violent hate crimes found that 75% of anti-Asian hate crimes, that's 3 out of 4, 75% of the time where Asians were being attacked, the perpetrator was a member of the white community. 75% of anti-Asian hate crimes were perpetrated by whites. Let's be clear on that fact as well. So that's what we're reading. And then we scroll right down here where it says the table below shows the 75% of offenders and violent anti-Asian hate crimes were identified as white. Asian American victims more likely than black or Hispanic victims to be attacked at commercial businesses, schools, or colleges. So that's where many of the Asians were being attacked during this time period, at the schools, at their colleges, and at their universities. And we know that the attacking took place 75% of the time by the white community.
Asian Americans Advancing Justice has cited at least 3,000 anti-Asian incidents since last February. In New York City, there was an 867% increase in Asian hate crime victims in 2020 compared to the year before.
Scrolling on down, we see that in 2020, reported anti-Asian hate crimes represented 6.7% of all reported hate crimes. That was up from 4.4 in the year 2019. One key stat also we want to take a look at, which was highly publicized by the media, was this stat right here of 833% increase of anti-Asian crimes. And this says that between 2019 and 2020, the largest increases in reported anti-Asian hate crimes were in New York City, 3 to 28 anti-Asian crimes, an increase of 833%. If you give me that 833% by itself as a number, it looks very suspicious. It looks crazy. It looks like there's been a surge, a huge surge in anti-Asian hate. And while we admit, yes, there has been a surge of anti-Asian resentment, you're going to still need the raw numbers to get the proper ideal to put it in context. And here are the raw numbers. It went from 3 to 28. 3 to 28. And that contributed for a 833% increase.
Police say the woman pushing the grocery cart in the surveillance video was just trying to unlock her building door when a man came from behind and punched her in the head, knocking her to the ground. We're pausing the video there because what happens next is a hate crime that has horrified even seasoned detectives.
Once again, we give condolences to anyone that suffered any form of abuse during that time period going forward. Yet at the same time, we have to put things into their proper context. Just looking at something does not put it into its context. This is what the report is trying to explain for us and tell us to do. So it says the majority of perpetrators of anti-Asian hate crimes and hate incidents identified as white. We know that's true up to 75% of the time. But the key point here is where it says viral videos featuring black perpetrators have been circulating on social media. And we've seen the multiple videos being circulated. It is critical to contextualize social media. Contextualize as in to put it into its proper perspective so understanding can go forward. It is critical to contextualize social media and news coverage of such incidents as research shows. What has the research shown? That the media and crime news, these two entities, media and crime news, over-report and over-represent black suspects. According to the research in this report, we know that it is the black community who was attacked the most during the pandemic, while the primary perpetrators against the Asian community at a 75% clip was that of the white community. Now, these are the facts, not the reportings, not the representations, not the misinformations, and not the narrations, but these are the facts. And keeping up with the facts, we come to our 3-point summary conclusion. The first point being is it was actually the black community who was attacked the most during the time of the pandemic. Also, it is the Black community who has been attacked the most during their time here behind America's borders. The report put out there by Professor Janelle Wong will confirm. The second point that we want to take a look at is who was attacking the Asian community at the peak of the pandemic. And through the report, we clearly see that 75% of the time, the attackers were members of the white community. That brings us to our third point in the conclusion of the video, and we see that the mainstream media and certain social media outlets moved in opposition to that truth of the report. We see the mainstream media almost suggesting that the Black community was systematically attacking the Asian community, and that simply was not the case. So we share this information. We shared with you the research. We shared with you the researcher. We now are asking and expecting you to like the video, share the video, and share the channel. Okay? These things are very important that we keep truth going and we keep accountability flowing. And that's it for today, family. Until the next time you catch me at the bar. Peace.